Hello, well, not Skype. Hello, and welcome to the Golden Sport Report, episode 79. I'm Andy.
I'm
I'm Dylan.
Sean. Oh, God damn
Sorry.
it.
Had a great streak going of just improvising, and today our streak ended, so we're back at zero. Maybe one day we'll have a sign behind us of days that we get the intro right in a row. But so today we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills as our training camp stuff begins. Preseason games, the Bills start early. Everything starts early. So next Sunday, not this Sunday, they play a game. So that's a big deal. So first we're going to cover the quarterbacks, then the running backs. We're going to go an A to F rating on each position and how we think that's going to kind of go throughout training camp. And then we're going to talk baseball. And Sean really loves baseball. He
No.
knows he makes Dylan look dumb when Sean talks about baseball. So this will be exciting. But I'm going to let Sean go first. Sean, what's your opinion on the Bills quarterbacks going into training camp, and what would you grade them to be?
I don't know. They're looking solid. EJ looks like he's stepped up. Hopefully to be a leader again instead of being injured half the season. Me and Andy were talking about this earlier. I know around what he's going to grade this, but I'm sorry, I'm going to call you out, but he's rating on what he did last season, but he was injured. So just what all of our coaches have been saying about EJ and all the other players, I'm gonna have to say A plus for EJ. I don't know. I haven't really heard about the backups or anything. So yeah, it's nice.
I don't even think Dylan can be that optimistic. Dylan, what is your opinion of the Bills quarterbacks in training camp, and what grade do you give them?
Well, to be honest, I was surprised that Sean said A to A plus because usually when it comes to Bills talk, I'm always the highest. And hey, Chris is here. But EJ, personally, I think he's in line for a big year. I mean, I've been reading a lot online and a lot of what the coaches are saying, players are saying, and the steps he's taken in the off season from last year to this year. The only bad things I hear about him come from Andy. So I think EJ's in line for a big year at quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy and say that he'll be elite. He won't be elite by any means, but he'll be a serviceable quarterback that can very possibly lead this team to the playoffs. And I'm just going to go, I want to say B plus because there is that that risk of injury that I don't want to ignore that, but I'm not as concerned about it as certain other people.
I, on the other hand, don't think that way. Chris, if I were to throw you a fastball right away and ask you to talk about the quarterbacks, would you be all right?
Yeah.
All right. So, what's your opinion of the Bills quarterback going into training camp on an 8F rating?
Going into training camp, I'd say we're looking okay. Thad Lewis was a serviceable backup. Jeff Toole is a decent third string guy, at least he was last year. And, he ended up, I know in training camp so far he's looked pretty good. And he's taking I know he's taking a few of the snaps away from Thad Lewis. And EJ, looks pretty good. He's got a new. He's sporting a new visor. Don't know if he's gonna keep it, but he looks cool with it. He looks like Cam Newton. I don't know. He could. Quarterback is a wild card position for us. We could do really well, or we could do really poorly, or we could just do average. So, like, we have no idea how we're going to do. We don't have a guarantee of which one it's going to be. So, it's kind of difficult to really, like, know, I guess. Like, yeah. So, I think EJ has what it takes to be uh, good. He's not going to be great, but I think he has what it takes to be good for sure. Um, whether he can figure out how to use his abilities is a different question altogether. So,
Um, if you were to give them an A to F rating, like looking at the quarterbacks, A being extremely confident and F being like, oh my God, we are in deep shit. What do you grade the quarterback situation?
probably like a B minus.
There you go. Got an A, a B, and then an AB. So I'm going to be the lowest. I'm going to be the lowest. I have them at a C minus. And as Sean said, the reason I have him at a C minus is because I'm not a big fan of EJ Manuel, and it's because before he even played a game last year, he was injured, and he ended the season injured, and he had off-season surgery on top of that. He like injured his knee 3 separate times, and that causes a loss of confidence in him and his ability to stay on the field. Sure, he may not run the ball as much, but who knows how much speed he may have lost in avoiding the rush and things of that nature. So, we'll see how that goes, but, you have to raise questions about his durability based on his past history, which is all you can rate durability on. Um, I know Pro Football Outsiders, I believe, said that he really has trouble throwing a deep out, like a 10, 15-yard out pass. Uh, Back shoulder throws to, which is a difficult pass, but to the sidelines, and a deep pass, which Thad Lewis does really well. But Thad Lewis, he's gonna be the backup no matter what, even if I dislike EJ. And it's a thing, We gave up all this for Sammy Watkins, and we talked about him beforehand, and he's looking really good. But that's 2 first-round picks. He better be damn good. He better be damn good because that was 2 years of high quality players that you gave up to get Sammy Watkins. And that's something that you have to accept, and he better be worth 2 high quality, possibly Pro Bowl players. So that's a thing. Um, Thad Lewis, he can serve as a backup. He's a smart quarterback. He didn't look bad for us. He kind of got screwed. He had to play really good teams last year in his, time at quarterback. So that's a thing. And Jeff Toole, I liked Jeff Toole last year as we started the show. I was like, oh, Jeff Toole, Jeff Toole. He, he's below average. He's a third stringer for sure. They're battling for second string, and he is stealing some reps, but, Thad has the game experience, where Jeff Toole has that one game against the Chiefs where, I can't blame him for them losing as much as everyone else did, but, I think Thad's going to get the number 2 spot, so I'm giving it a C minus. C minus. Pessimistic. All right. Next. Is running backs. Running backs for the Bills. As you know, that's a great position for us. We'll see. I'm sure we'll have some similarities here. Chris, you can go first. on running backs. What's your opinion on our situation at running back, and what's your grade out of that situation?
Um, I've expressed some distrust in CJ. I did last year, and I already have this year. Um, he's slated to be our top guy, but he performed well last year, even though the high ankle sprain. He had like 4.5 yards a carry, which is really good, but I don't know. I don't know if I trust him, really. But we've got, Fred Jackson's going to take a lot of his carries, and he's a warrior. And Bryce Brown, Anthony Dixon, those guys are good. Bryce Brown could end up being one of possibly a starter in a couple of years if he sticks around. Anthony Dixon's okay too. So, um, they should be good. I'd give it solid A. Maybe, yeah, give it an A because we've got three running backs two running backs that would be starters and a running back that could be a starter in a couple of years. It's a good thing to have, and that's one of our strengths. And we're going to be a running team, so I'm going to give us an A there.
A at running back. Dylan, what's your opinion of the situation at running back?
I think this year the Bills, I think we're in a great position at the running back position. And I would give us an A to A plus range. I know there are a little bit of durability question marks with Spiller and Jackson after what they went through last year, but they're both supposed to be coming in healthy. We acquired Brown, and I think having those three guys is going to be really good and really beneficial for us because we have the depth in case somebody does go down with an injury again, or it can help become a precaution. We don't need Spiller to put the team on his back because we have two other running backs that can come in and play a couple downs and be good to great on occasion. So I'm a big fan of Spiller. I have his jersey in my closet, and I expect him to have a pretty good year now that he's fully recovered. Jackson's always solid. Brown could be good. And I think they could prove to be one of the best backfields in the NFL this year. So A to A plus. I think we'll have a good running game, and in turn, that'll help out EJ. And a good offense will help out our defense. They won't be on as long, and there's a whole chain reaction here. So A to A plus.
Excuse me, sorry about that. And Sean, what is your opinion of the running back situation for the Bills?
I don't know. I've never really liked our running game, especially Spillers. It always seems like he takes one good run and then another 5 runs just down the drain. Because I've noticed with him, he tries way too hard to gain yards and he ends up losing 5 yards in the making of it. I don't know if he's improved on that. You don't know. Yeah, what he has to do, he just so that being said, I don't know the other two running backs that you guys mentioned. Um, but with that being said, I'd say B minus.
So B minus A, and we're looking at A's and B's again for running back, and I'm not going to break it up with a C this time because it's the truth. I look at our four running backs, and we have a running back for every situation. It kind of reminds me of when we had Marshawn, Fred Jackson, and C.J. Spiller coming in the league, and it was like, oh, you have so many running backs. What do you do? And we traded Lynch for nothing, and uh, you saw how he did with Seattle so far in his career. So, it's an A plus. We have the best running back core in the NFL. It's the best running back core in the NFL, and that's the God's honest truth. You have Spiller, who I don't personally like him because he doesn't like to run in between the tackles. I actually like Fred Jackson a lot. He really's earned it. And CJ Spiller started 2 years ago was kind of showing, hey, I'm learning from Fred Jackson. I'm learning how to play this position the correct way. And then he goes out last year and does terrible. So gets injured, but he's not up to CJ Spiller's standards. And that's no good. With Bryce Brown, that's a security blanket, like you guys said, for injuries like last year, and if they stay this year. Maybe we don't keep Fred Jackson. Maybe we let C.J. Spiller walk because he's going to cost too much money. 23-year-old Bryce Brown, 2 years ago, I believe he carried my fantasy football team to the playoffs because, well, Steve King didn't want to pick him up free agency, but he had like two 200-yard games or like two 150-yard games. The only problem he's had is fumbling issues, and if he resolves those, which is something you can fix, he will be a great third string running back, better than Tashard Choice. And I like the Anthony Dixon pickup because we have a goal line back. He is essentially a goal line back. So that's that is that. I gave him an A plus, and I do not feel bad about it. I'm trying to see if there's another here. Oh, okay, good. Found two links. All right, I'm gonna post another link in the chat with another thing that you probably want to look at. By the way, if you're watching this live or you are watching this afterwards, post in the comments below your opinions on the quarterbacks, running backs, and upcoming MLB talk. We like to kind of get in with the comments and talk as we go with the audience and people who watch the show, because we embrace you like you embrace us. So that's a thing. Okay, we went 20 minutes on that. That's a thing. All right, so we have baseball talk now. Dylan's gonna carry like Sean carries with soccer, and I carry with nothing and things of that nature. So, versus baseball, we have to talk about the biggest surprise first. What team looks like the biggest surprise in the standings? And I can't let Dylan go first, and I can't go first. So, Sean, you're going to have to go first. So, by looking at the standings, you know a little bit about baseball. You're like, oh, people talk about this team a lot. Maybe a couple players. What team in the standings is like, why are they there? What are you surprised by anything?
The Bisons. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Me not knowing anything about baseball, I would never think of Milwaukee being on the top of their division in the Central in the National League. I have no idea if they're good or not. They have 57 wins and 45 losses. I guess that's good. Uh, but yeah, I've never even heard of them, so it's a fun fact.
Well, hey, you put put himself out there. It looks like basketball talk. As we have a viewer, we're going to lose our viewer with our poor baseball talk. Chris, you're up next for your surprise team.
Okay, my surprise team isn't really like a team. It's just kind of like a surprise I'm seeing in the standings here. As I'm looking at all the standings, all these divisions have, at least two, some even three teams that are, a pretty decent amount over 500 on their win-loss percentage. But the Central Division in the American League has one team above 500, and then another team only like one loss away from being exactly 500 in their second place slot. And that's just seems weird to me. Like it's Cleveland, they're 51-50 in the second place in their division, and that's a pretty shitty record to have. And to still be in second place in your division, you're pretty lucky there. So that's my biggest surprise is that division doesn't have at least one more team doing a little bit better than that.
Hey, the AL crap, aka the Central. You're right. It's pretty bad. I guess I have to go before Dylan. I have to go before Dylan because Dylan's supposed to clean up. I don't want him to take mine because I don't have a backup. My surprise is, the Oakland Athletics, because last year they made the playoffs and they might have made it the year before, and it was kind of like the Oakland A's really don't have a flashy team by any stretch of the imagination, but you have guys like Cespedes and Donaldson putting the team on their back, and Donaldson came out of nowhere last year, in my opinion, and they're pitching. We made fun of Scott Kazmir, me and Dylan, that one episode, and it's because he's 100 years old and somehow makes the All-Star game, but you look at his stats and it's like, oh, wow, he actually is pitching that well. They added Samardzija, which went he had top 20 ERA in the NL, but was 0-11 because the Cubs were so bad. And he goes to the A's, and that's just better for their pitching staff. One of the best young pitchers in the league, and Sonny Gray. So, I guess describing them, I shouldn't be too surprised, but in that division, you look at teams like the Angels, who have arguably the best player in the last 50 years in Mike Trout. Like Miguel Cabrera, what he's done is things that haven't been done in 50 years, but Mike Trout's 6 years younger at the moment, and he's leading in the AL MVP race. So, I guess that was kind of a thing that I shouldn't have said yet. But, they have Trout, Pujols, Hamilton, and they're not leading their division. And it's because they're pitching. Garrett Richards is doing it, but no one else is. And Garrett Richards really So, that's a thing. And the Rangers are at the bottom, and they added Prince Fielder. So it's like, I added Prince Fielder, and I got worse. He's weighing them down. If you saw the ESPN Body magazine, you saw Prince on the front cover. And then you didn't see anything else for a long time. So, that was a thing. If you didn't see that, look up Prince Fielder's ESPN Body magazine cover. And, you won't have to see our ugly face, you'll just hear us. Dylan, you get to bat cleanup, if you will. And what surprises did we miss for the league so far at this point?
That's clever bat cleanup because I'm going fourth, but it's a good thing you went before me because my surprise was Oakland and their 61-38 record, number one in the league. I expected they'd be good, but good enough for a wild card, and I picked Texas, who is 40-60, to win that division. I'm pretty sure. So My main surprise was the AL West and how how well Oakland is doing and how terrible Texas is doing. They did bring in a fielder, but he got a back injury and is out for the remainder of the season. Darvish was out for a little while. Elvis Andrus has been struggling. Chu was struggling. So things weren't looking good. They traded Kinsler, and Kinsler's doing fantastic in Detroit. It's just a side note, but just so I'm not repeating Andy, I'll talk a little bit about the division that my favorite team is in, the Yankees. The AL East, it's not so much surprising and like what it's like, but overall, it's kind of disappointing in that it's not, none of the teams are that spectacular this year, where for a long time during my lifetime, I know that's only 20 years, but the league was dominated by the Yankees, and during the 2000s, Boston won a couple World Series. Toronto, Tampa, and Baltimore have all been good at times, and now at one point it was believed to be one of the best divisions in the league, and right now it's looking pretty ugly. I know Chris talked about the AL Central as being bad after Detroit there, and it is kind of ugly there. But I don't know. I'm kind of surprised how the AL East is shaping up right now. I'm fine that all the teams are mediocre. Gives the Yankees a shot at still making the playoffs despite losing everybody to injury. So I guess the AL East and AL West have been what's been going differently from my expectations thus far in the season.
Thank God I went before Dylan. And batting cleanup, Dylan hit a grand slam as he, you know, did very well. Did very well. With all the baseball puns, I may sound like I know what I'm talking about. All right, now we're gonna talk about who you have as the Cy Young in the AL and NL. That is best pitcher. You know, it's a thing. We'll see how this goes. I have some names written down. I can pronounce them, and I know who they are. Cy Young in the AL and NL. Who do you think's gonna win it, or who do you think has it right now?
Who's going? Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good job, Sean. Right now, Cy Young. Well, apparently this Adam Wainwright dude is doing pretty good. 1.83 ERA, and going into the All-Star game, that's pretty good. Actually, that's really good. That's less than 2 runs a game, and any pitcher who can let in less than 2 runs a game is putting his team in a good spot to win. You know, yeah, some other names there like Johnny Cueto and Clayton Kershaw. I'm gonna go ahead and be the bandwagon dude here and just hop on the Adam Wainwright train just because he's the top guy, at least in the NL. And then in the AL, we got this Felix Hernandez dude. But, I don't know. I think I'll appease Dylan here and go with the question mark Masahiro Tanaka instead. For that one. Maybe. Only one winner, though. Don't pick Sean. He's frozen. Like the movie?
He's singing "Let It Go." He doesn't want people to know.
Oh god.
Don't get us
Okay.
copyrighted.
Yeah, that would. There's only one winner though, so I got that Wainwright dude guy. Damn. Prediction.
Okay, so Sean's frozen now. Or Sean, speak if you're alive. Oh, you're moving. You're moving. Can we pick him? Okay, he's good.
Ah,
He's good. All right.
hi.
Sean, who do you have as the Cy Young at the moment in the AL and NL?
Okay. Uh, I think this is the right link. But Clayton Kershaw, I saw he was the best pitcher in NL. Yeah. Hold on. All right. I don't even know what these mean. All right, I'll just go to the next one before I look like an idiot. Ah, how about them Yankees? My, just skip me. My computer's going way too slow.
He picks Masahiro Tanaka as well. All right. So he wanted to be skipped. So I guess it's my turn because I still want Dylan to go last, especially after what could have happened last time. My AL Cy Young is my boy Chris Sale. I had him for about a week or two, and he did very well for me in that season. I traded him back for more than I acquired him for. So I was pretty happy about that. He's really good. I have his stats here, and he is second in the ERA in the AL, 16th in wins, and sixth in strikeouts per 9 innings. It's a big deal to only allow 2 runs a game, as Chris said. It's a big deal to be able to strike out one guy per inning, and not many pitchers can do that. As he's sixth place, 9.7 K9. The only thing that's a problem is his win total. He is 16th with 9 wins. I think the leader has like 12 or 13. So it's not like, oh, he's not way down there. It's just he got injured for a little while. He's behind. That's a thing. He's playing for arguably one of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion, in the White Sox. Unless the White Sox are winning that division. No, Detroit has to be. So that's the thing. Um, in the NL, though, that Clayton Kershaw guy, he missed I think the first month of the season, and he is first in strikeouts per 9 innings in the whole league, first in ERA in the whole league, and second in wins. No, he's third in wins in the NL, and he missed a month. He's 1 win behind first place, and he missed a month. So at this rate, he's going to pass. He's going to get the triple crown of my 3 categories of pitching. That's another little pun there. Jeez, I'm on a roll. So another pitching thing. Yeah, the Dodgers are really good. Kershaw, 25 years old, best pitcher in the game. He threw a no-hitter this year. 15 strike. Was that the 15 strikeout no-hitter? I believe so. So that's a big deal. He got paid a lot of money, but he drives a 2007 Trailblazer because he's like, I still want to be humble as I drive my Trailblazer to my $50 million house because I'm humble. So, Dylan, who do you have as your Cy Youngs at the moment?
I'll start with the American League, and in the AL, I want to go with Andy and say Chris Sale. I love Chris Sale. He's a great pitcher, but his stats are awfully similar to that of another AL pitcher, Felix Hernandez. His ERA is .01 higher, and his WHIP is .04 lower. .02 strikeouts more per 9. He has 2 less wins and 1 less loss. The reason I have to go Felix is because Sale had a DL stint, and Felix has put up almost, it's crazy how similar their numbers are, with 49 more innings pitched through this point in the season. So, as much as I want to say Chris Sale, and I want to say Masahiro Tanaka, who could be in the conversation, but right at this moment, I have to go with Felix Hernandez. Going to win his second Cy Young Award. First one was back in 2010. In the NL, Chris made a good case for Adam Wainwright, and in a regular year, Adam Wainwright would probably be the front runner, but Clayton Kershaw has decided to be a complete monster this year and dominate everybody. He's putting up really incredible stats that we haven't seen in a long time. 1.92 ERA at the moment, .84 WHIP. Over the last 30 days, his ERA is .92. So that really goes to show how dominant he's been for LA. He's the best pitcher in the league. He's 26, so he'll probably stay at the top for a while. Going to rob Adam Wainwright of a Cy Young Award, unfortunately, because I think Wainwright deserves one. He's been great for his whole career, and I was surprised to find out he doesn't have one, but Kershaw's doing great, and I read an article recently that made the case for the possibility of Kershaw retiring as the best left-handed pitcher in the history of baseball. So that just goes to show how dominant he's been through this point in his career.
Already being said as the best left-handed pitcher in the history of baseball. Still has arguably 10 at minimum years left, if not 15. And if he wants to pull the Jamie Moyer, 22. Next, we have MVPs. And, well, Sean, I'd hate to put you, in the fire here, but I let Chris go first for the Cy Young, so I kind of have to let you go first for MVP. Who do you have at MVP in the AL and NL?
Come on, why does it have to do both? I was just gonna say Mike Trout because that's all you have to know because he's a monster, and I don't know what division he would be in. Is he AL?
Yeah, he's AL.
God damn it. YouTube is my friend. Hopefully it doesn't make me lag. But Mike Trout, he's a big guy, and he's surprisingly fast for how big he is, and yeah, and still loading. Anyone else want to go?
I'll let Chris go.
Thank you.
Chris, who do you have at MVP in the AL and NL?
Is he even there?
Wildcard. What's up? Yeah. Oh. Well, yeah. Mike Trout is a person, I guess. He exists on the plane of Earth somewhere. Yeah, he's probably the front runner for the AL MVP, but I don't know. His team's got a really good record, but there's this guy Michael Brantley who's considered the dark horse to possibly win. He's been the best player for his team, Cleveland, this season. and he's leading the team with home runs and RBIs, and he's hitting a .322, which is pretty good. And he's the only reason that the Indians are doing how they're doing. I don't actually know how they're doing. Cleveland, wasn't that the team I said was 51-50 or whatever? Yeah, so he's the only reason that they're second place in their division. So if that team ends up making the playoffs, it'll be on the back of this guy. And that's if you have a good team around you, um, obviously you're going to perform well. But if you have a terrible team around you and you still perform well, then you deserve some high praise there. But it probably won't end up being him just because Mike Trout's being so amazing. And for the NL, um, Clayton Kershaw is actually one of the people who could be an MVP here, and that could be a thing. I could see that. But I don't know how the Dodgers are doing this year. Um, I would probably go with Andrew McCutchen, just because Andrew McCutchen's Andrew McCutchen, and I've always been a fan of Andrew McCutchen because he's Andrew McCutchen, and he's Andrew McCutchen, so he wins because he's Andrew McCutchen. That's all you really know is that he's Andrew McCutchen and he's gonna win.
All right. So I guess we'll let Sean do his NL now. Sean, who do you have as your NL MVP?
There we go. All right, it's gonna be Andrew McCutchen because Chris stole it from me. Did all this research just to find someone, and you stole it. Okay, computer, calm down. I had it all set up. My computer is a piece of junk. Okay, I quit. Andrew McCutchen. I suck.
Oh, Drew. No, it's not. All right. AL MVP Mike Trout. He is fourth in home runs, second in RBIs, 10th in average. He's Mike Trout. 22 years old, doing that well. Another person with him is Miguel Cabrera, and over the last 2 years, I believe, the 2 years prior, even Mike Trout's rookie year, they've been neck and neck in terms of who's better. So this is a big deal. Cabrera had a triple crown, something that's rarely done. But Mike Trout, what he does on the field is stuff we've never seen before. They compare him to Mickey Mantle and stuff like that, and that's things that live in lore. That's a big deal. NL. So I originally had Tulo put down because he's batting 340, and 340 is crazy good. Like, crazy good. And, I changed it to Andrew McCutchen. So, we talked about Andrew McCutchen a lot because he's Andrew McCutchen. And I've always liked Andrew McCutchen and stuff like that. He, eighth in home runs, fourth in RBI, third in average. But, the only reason I didn't pick Tulowitzki is because I looked at the standings and Colorado has no shot. They're like 15 games back. So it's like, well, Colorado's not making the playoffs, and there's no way in hell the team's going to win have a player that makes MVP that doesn't even come close to the playoffs. So it's going to have to be McCutchen or Kershaw, because the season Kershaw's having is a season that we may, we may have never seen. We may have not seen it in a long time, at least without the question of steroids at this point. You question a pitcher that maybe pitched that well prior, but now you question them in their integrity. Whereas now it's, no, he's pitching spectacular. So Kershaw, Tulowitzki, McCutchen. I kind of took every option away from Dylan. We'll see what he does. I threw him a curveball. Dylan, what do you have at MVP?
I'll start with AL. I'm just going to Mike Trout, 22 years old, one of the best players, if not the best player in the league right now. And he's having some people were saying earlier in the year that he's not having the typical Mike Trout year because of what he'd done the past 2 years. And but still, fourth in home runs. Andy listed at second in RBI. He's batting .309, and his stolen bases are down, but he's still having a phenomenal year. People argued that he should have won the MVP last year, the year before when Miguel Cabrera won it, but I think those were both very well deserved by Miguel Cabrera, and I think this is Mike Trout's year to get his first, and I would be willing to put money on it not being his last, not even close to being his last. So I'm going to go with Mike Trout in the AL. And the NL, Tulowitzki was a solid option until he got put on the DL yesterday. He's very injury prone throughout his career, so I guess we should have seen it coming. Clayton Kershaw has been talked about. He's having a phenomenal year. You guys made a good case by saying Andrew McCutchen 10 times in the same sentence. And Andy sort of did exhaust options, but I'm going to be a bit of better judgment would probably say that McCutchen will win it. But the fan in me is going to talk about Giancarlo Stanton for a little bit just to avoid repetition. Because, yes, he's slowed down, but he has 23 home runs on the year. That's good enough for second in the National League. He leads the National League in RBI, I believe. Yeah, despite being ninth in the MLB in RBI, he leads the National League. But he's batting .294, so it's not an amazing batting average. It's not Tulowitzki's .340, but it's still very good, and I could very well see both McCutchen or Kershaw getting the award, but in terms of value, I know the Marlins aren't very good, but imagine what they'd be without Giancarlo Stanton. So the answer is nothing. It'd be very bad. But so a couple of very good choices. I'm sure we'll see as we go down the stretch the race for the MVP. It might narrow down to like two of those guys, or somebody might just stand out. If Kershaw pitches at this rate the rest of the year, we're probably going to see him get it, to be completely honest, because, I mean, I know pitchers don't win the MVP often. It happened in 2011 with Verlander, and I don't know his stats exactly, but I'm sure his year wasn't as good as Kershaw's right now. So, personally, I hope it's Stanton, but I think it could be any of the guys that we've talked about here.
True. We said McCutchen a lot. And to avoid repetition, Dylan didn't want to say it 12 times like we all did. That's the thing. That's pretty much the show. What we had planned. We're going to do final words in a second. But like, comment, favorite, subscribe. If you like the show, like it. If you got a comment, comment. If you liked it enough, subscribe. Because then you'll be able to see when we upload videos, which is at the moment every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 o'clock. Unless we, don't have a show. Our cancellation videos, No more cancellation videos. You guys, we're sorry. Things will change. Things are going to get better. There are greener pastures ahead. So, time to get to final word. I know Sean has one. I want to make Sean go first because I know he has one. I know everyone most likely has one, but I know what Sean's is, so I want him to go first. So, Sean, you have the floor.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna be talking about Sabres and what they've been doing for the past 3 weeks. I haven't been on, so I haven't gotten to talk about it. Um, just recently they had their little scrimmage, um, and it was really, really fun to watch. I watched it on the live stream. I wish I could have gone to see it live, but couldn't. But I was really, really surprised that they were actually running each other over. Reinhardt got demolished. That was fun to see. Um, and it's stuff like that that will teach the young kids that even in the scrimmage, when you're facing all your buddies, you'll have to keep your head up and watch out for the hits. There was even a fight. I didn't think that was going to happen. But all the prospects that I've seen were good. The only disappointment that I could remember is Markov. I think I said his name right. He was supposed to be one of the better goalie prospects, and did not do well. He was just out of position about 80% of the time and made himself just look silly. Um, but the typical Zadorov, Ristolainen, they were on spot. They were excellent. Reinhardt was a little slow, which was surprising. I kind of thought that when he was with Lemieux, they would have chemistry. They were not on spot. Um, but yeah, that was a fun experience. I never really got to see it. Um, and then they had a 3-on-3 tournament, and Grigorenko's team won it. Um, Chris asked why they would have chemistry because they were on the same team. Oh well, I just thought because they were on the same team that they would be more on the same page. Anyway, Grigorenko's team won, and that's a good sign because I have doubts with Grigorenko still. And it's good to see that he's maturing and he's becoming a team player. He's taking a role, so that's fun. Um, and some dislikes from the um, past week. We're signing veteran guys that it's good, but we're signing too many of them, and especially the defense. We now have Mazaros, I think his name was, Georges, and now some guy from Colorado. I, I don't understand. If the Sabres really, really want the young guys to get experience, why do we keep on why do we keep on signing veteran players? I understand that when you're practicing, they'll teach them, but teaching can only go so far, and then and say if two of them get injured, then you're going to put in rookie players that have little to no experience. Um, and that's just bothering me. I don't understand why we're doing it. Um, so yeah, that's my final word. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree. Comment.
Yeah, Sean at work. Well, we were talking about it. And Sean was like, "Why do we have?" When I said Mazzaros, he got mad. And then when I got home, Benoit got signed, and he used caps lock and was yelling in the chat. Chris or Dylan, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay,
Just a
Chris, the
quick
floor is
comment.
yours.
Just a quick comment on the Sean. So I agree with the Andre Benoit signing is kind of stupid. We don't need to have him, but the Georgia's signing was good. We compare him with Myers, and the Mazzaro signing was smart. Um, we compare him with one of the younger guys, but we don't need. We didn't need Benoit. It was stupid to sign him. We did only get him for about $800,000 though, which is really cheap. So who knows? He might be trade bait or something. Okay. For my final word, I do some of my usual stuff here. Talk about some sports players being dumb, and there is a arrest warrant out for former Redskins tight end Fred Davis. He is wanted in a domestic violence assault case. Um, Pretty much they're looking for him. They can't find him. He's suspected in a domestic assault that occurred in the early morning of June 2nd, which is way later, but I'm just finding about this now. Um, he was suspended indefinitely by the NFL in February for his second violation of the league's substance abuse policy. So he's already been suspended and probably won't ever play a game ever again. And now he's wanted for arrest under this domestic violence abuse thing. Not domestic, if it's the kind of thing. So that's cool. He's already suspended, and then he's just like, oh, you know what? My football career is gone. Let's just go and beat someone up. That's a thing. So yeah, if you see him, you're out by anywhere near where he lives, call the police. And let me know what you guys think about all these players being dumb. What should be done about it? Like, I don't know. I almost feel like they should get penalized more. Or at least someone should take the hammer for everyone else so they stop doing it. Like, if this guy gets caught, maybe, I don't know what the exact usual sentence would be if this guy was proven guilty. Let's say it's like 5 years would be the average. Let's give him like 15. Just be like, all right, well, you're supposed to be a role model to people, being a football player. So instead of the regular 5 years, we're going to increase it. So yeah, that'd be a thing. Let me know.
Fred Davis almost became a Buffalo Bill last offseason. Came very, very close. Good thing we didn't have his wife beaten, police evading ass on our team. We have a player by the name of Marcel Darius to get ourselves in trouble. We don't need Fred Davis.
Guys, I have a confession. Don't tell anyone, but he's hiding in my room. Shh.
You literally just told the entire internet.
Is he hiding underneath your bed?
You just told all 5 of our viewers.
Yes, don't tell anyone, guys.
Our little inner circle of trust. God forbid we actually got a few views. Or maybe a police officer watches. Dylan, you have the floor for your final words.
Alright, so I was going to talk a little bit of baseball, but I figured everyone's probably sick of that, and there wasn't much to say anyways about my topic. So I found one in everybody's next favorite sport, the NBA. As we all know, LeBron James returning to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and as his announcement came, things in Cleveland got pretty hectic, including traffic jams and all sorts of stuff. described as somewhat of, quote, chaos breaking out because of just the general excitement. I can imagine you get pretty excited when the best player in the league's coming to your team. So, as an apology to his neighbors in Cleveland, LeBron James placed an order and had 70 dozen cupcakes delivered to his neighbors as an apology. If 70 dozen, if my math's correct, that's 840 cupcakes. And so just delivered all to his neighbors. All of them had little note cards with them that said, "Dear friend, we know things have been hectic in our neighborhood these past few weeks, and we are sorry for the chaos. We are so thankful to live in this wonderful community, and we are so blessed to have understanding neighbors like you." So it was a nice gesture for him to give his neighbors all diabetes, but so. But in reality, I think it was a nice thing for him to do because he came back, and I hadn't known that there were tons of traffic jams and stuff like that in Cleveland, but I can imagine that people were going crazy and getting really excited. So I'm not a big LeBron James fan, nor am I a big basketball fan, but I just thought it was nice, and I thought I would share it. So that's my final word for the night.
And next episode, Sean will have a baseball final word.
Yeah, right. The guy hit the hockey puck with the baseball bat and got the touchdown.
Kevin Hart scored for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they were facing the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL.
Sounds legit.
Charlotte Bobcats, they must be in the Canadian Football League.
It's a stupid name.
They're the Hornets now, by the way. Just in case you get confused, they're the Hornets.
Okay.
Alright, my final word, NASCAR. Brickyard 400. Actually, right now, they're driving on dirt in the truck series, and I'm going to probably watch it because, there's nothing more redneck than trucks driving on dirt in NASCAR. So, that's something that I'm going to probably watch. But, it's a once a year thing. This is the second time it's ever happened, and it's really, it's they go back to the roots. Like, it's almost like the Winter Classic, the hockey. You're going back to the roots where everybody began, which is driving on dirt. Not necessarily in trucks, but in late models and things. And, everybody that, they built their craft from when they're 8 years old all the way up until they finally got to drive on asphalt. They get to go back to where they began and, see who's the best at dirt racing. But probably should have talked about that more. I was probably going to talk about it on Sunday. So they're racing at the Brickyard. Average speed during the race is 155 miles an hour. It's considered one of the Triple Crown races of the season. Only one time or two times, I believe, somebody's won the Triple Crown. Jimmy Johnson and Jamie McMurray. The Triple Crown is Daytona 500, Coca-Cola 600, and the Brickyard 400 this weekend. Qualifying, the record speed is 187 miles an hour, which was last year. So it's probably going to be faster this year. I'm thinking 190. Most wins ever, Jeff Gordon and the Devil Jimmy Johnson. So let's go Jeff Gordon this week. Woohoo! Should be a good race. It's something to watch at the end. It's a famous track. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is a 2.5 mile rectangle. Yeah, 2.5 mile quad oval, which means 4 oval because it's a rectangle. To simplify it, it is a rectangle, but the edges are curved instead of 90-degree angle. So, it'll be interesting. to see because it is a historic track, as everyone knows. Indianapolis 500, and you know, Formula One, I believe, even races a Grand Prix on it. It's one of the most historic tracks of all time. So, you know, winning there is a big deal. The kiss the bricks that are covered in oil and you know rubber from the tires and you know all that stuff. After the win, the team kisses the bricks every time. So, yeah, that's pretty redneck too. This is an all redneck weekend, and yeah, so that's my final word. And with that, that is the episode 79 of the Golden Sports Report. I feel like, is everyone here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone was frozen. That was weird. Yeah, that was the episode of the Golden Sports Report, episode 79. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe. As I said before, you know, if you liked it, share it with your friends or something. It's mostly local. We're hoping to maybe change that. We're, you know, things in the works. It'll be nice to, you know, change things. I know we had kind of wanted to do stuff this summer, but work is work, and you know, you got what you got to do. So it is what it is. We hope to take this show to the next level. Thank you for watching, and see you Sunday. Bye.
You too.
Adios.